Hey guys, King Dro here. Today I will be showing you building tips and tricks that I have learned over the years, and I hope that they will be helpful to you when you are building. This was done on single player mode. However, the things that I will be showing you do work on official servers. So if this isn't a mod or any sort of trickery, it's things that you can do on official. I just did it on single player so I can spawn in all the materials so I don't actually lose materials of my own. Alright, so to start, I'm showing you when you are building and you're using foundations, when you start, I'm showing you that how like you run into the situation where you can't build anymore because it's either obstructed or you can't connect or the elevation is too high. So what you want to do is you want to always start at the highest point when you are building, unless you have a complete flat surface. Most of Ark land isn't exactly flat. There are some maps that are pretty good about being flat, but there's more not flat than there are flat surfaces. So you always want to start at your highest point. Okay, so right here I'm showing you what most people typically do. They run to a point where they can't build any more foundations. They add a ceiling or two, then they put a pillar, but then you get this nasty little hump sticking up out of the ceiling, and it looks tacky to me. So what I'm going to be showing you is how to do this without having that little nub on top sticking out. Alright, so what you're going to need are pillars or foundations. So once you get to the point where you can't build anymore, you're going to put a pillar in the first position that you can, which is where it's sticking like half out up top and half out at the bottom. Then you click it. Then what you want to do is when you go to click underneath it, there are two click points. You want the lowest click point. So when you add that click point, then what you do is you run back up and you either pick up the top pillar or you demolish it. So you can see that after I demolish the top pillar, if you do it fast enough, you can actually pick it up. Once the debris clears, you don't have that nub anymore. So you can see that now I can add two more ceilings without a problem. When you get to the point where you can't add any more, you do the same thing, or you're going to get your foundation, and you can see when you put the foundation next to a pillar, there's a new click point. You can click it to the side or in front or whatever. So you're going to click it in the front, like so, and then that allows you to keep building above. It gives it more support. Using a foundation is going to be the easiest way to do this. Now, the foundation area is going to be like what I call a subfloor. You're not going to see that. So eventually you can actually cover that up, which I'm also going to show you how to cover that up. And you won't have that big gap between the top level and the bottom level. But this allows you to build a nice flat area on an uneven surface without a problem. You can see that now I can connect a wall between the ceiling and the foundation, and you would go all the way around your base with this to seal that nice little gap that you have, but it gives it a nice flush look. Then I go to the foundation and I switch to block mode, which gives it that nice finished look. Alright, so here I'm going to show you that whole pillar clicking once more, so you can see it better on this part. You can see that there's two different click points. You want the lowest click point available to you for this to work, and then if you do it quickly like I do here, you can actually pick up the top pillar, leaving nothing sticking out on top. Now, you can use pillars also. They are cheaper, but then once you place them, like I am here, and then you place your ceilings, when you go to do your finishing, you don't get that nice flush look. you get this little tiny gap at the bottom, and I'll show you that here in a second. When you go to connect the walls after you're done building and you have this big gap and you want to connect this so it makes it look flush, there's going to be two different click points, and you will see that. You want to click it at the bottom by the foundation first, then you click the one on top. If you don't, you get this little tiny bit of a big, it can be big, gap between the two walls, and you'll see that here. All right, you saw the gap. I fixed it by making sure that it was clicked properly, and that looks much nicer. All right, so if you use pillars, you could see that now you go to quote unquote finish it and make it look nice and flush. And you're gonna run into this issue where you have this little tiny gap at the bottom, and there really isn't much you can do for that. You can try using the fence foundation and putting a wall, but then you can still kind of see it. It's not nearly as nice. That's why I always like to use the foundation method, because you can always guarantee yourself you're gonna have a nice smooth edge. Sometimes foundations aren't possible, but if you can use foundations, I would certainly use foundations. The next tip is getting the same result as what I did earlier, except using pillars. If you start with pillars and you use the click points, once you've placed all your pillars, you can attach the ceiling on top without any nub sticking out. Problem with pillars is sometimes you still run into an issue where it won't click to a lower area, and then you're still going to have to use a ceiling or a foundation to extend your click points. As you can see now, you can attach ceilings and have nothing sticking out on top, which makes it really nice and nice and flush, very easy. You just basically go around placing your ceilings and you have no problems. Now, another trick that you can do if you do decide to use the pillar method and then you want to cover the underneath because it looks a little tacky with all the pillars, you can use stairs and walls and foundations to cover up the area. As you can see here, you're going to want to first place walls down as far as you can go before you get this little gap at the bottom. Then what you want is you want a foundation you can place right in the front like this. And that basically allows you to cover up your pillars, because then what you do is you just use the block option here to switch to block mode, and that gives you that nice flush. Then you can add another ceiling outward, and you can put a wall down. So basically you take care of that nice finishing look, and you hide the pillars. The pillars could be in the center, the foundation could be around the perimeter, basically. So basically you can go around your whole base, adding foundations and the extending a little bit, and then you have that nice flush versus the pillar sticking out. Another option you have is using the stairs. Now, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but using a stair, you can then attach a ceiling at the bottom of it. Unlike a ramp, it actually gives you a click point for a ceiling. So you can see here, by adding a stair and then you can attach a ceiling to it, it gives you other options for basically trying to make your base look clean on the perimeter. And also, if you want to lower your base to another location, as you can see here. And then basically, if you add a foundation here, it gives you a little extra support. And then what you can do is, after I clear this rock out of the way here, once this rock's out of the way, I can place another stair right here in the front. So you have a nice gradual, or ceilings, whatever you want, really. Some stairs, you got some stairs here, remove this ceiling, got a stair, and now you have this nice little cool looking area. You can now remove the stair that you had placed earlier, so that way you can actually place a floor there. But that way it allowed me to extend the foundation at the bottom and not have to start a whole new area. Then you can add some final touches with some stairs, and it gives it a nice little look. I've done this inside a base before, like if the terrain was much higher at the top and much lower at the bottom, you can kind of do like a gradual down into the base. It gives it a nice cool effect, but it gives you another way of basically building outside the box, basically. All right, so for my next tip, we're going to be building a ramp system down to a lower section. Sometimes people can build quite bulky, ugly ones, so this one's a little cleaner, and I'm going to show you. All right, so the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to place 2 foundations on the edge. Then once you have that placed, you're going to want to place 2 stairs going down, and then you're going to put 2 ceilings. Then once that is placed, you're going to use a pillar and you're going to bring that all the way down to the bottom. You can use a Quetzal, a skiff, whatever you have to use to be able to place underneath. It's a little tricky. I used a tech suit. Once you place it all the way at the bottom, then you're going to use foundations and you're going to layer them all out until you've reached how far out you want to be. Now that we have support underneath, we can build the stairs all the way out until you hit the bottom. Now, depending on how high up you are, obviously this could be quite a way. So we're going to go all the way down until we have no more support. So all you got to do is, once you reach that point, you just got to add a little more. Not too big of a deal here. So you can use pillars too for support. I prefer foundations if possible, just because it doesn't look nearly as ugly. But that's my opinion. All right, so now that that one's done, I don't like that version as much, so I'm gonna show you a different one. You go back up to the top by where the ceilings were. You're gonna build off to the side, and then we're gonna do this gradual decrease, almost causing like a spiral, going down. So you go down like 2 stairs or 1 stair, and then you build down with your stairs. And you put a ceiling, and then you just turn to the left or the right, depending on how much like direction you want. Um, and you get yourself almost like a spiral, but it's smaller location. The area is much smaller, and I think it looks nicer too. And there, you got yourself much nicer looking staircase going down. Now, once that is built, you can actually make sure that you connect at the bottom here with a wall, and make sure you go from the ceiling, from the foundation, not from the ceiling, okay? That allows you to then break your connection of the pillar, and then it won't come down because you're connected by those walls at the bottom and by the stairs, of course. So you got to break the pillar at the bottom, and then you have to fly to the top and destroy the very top one, so it will all come down, which is kind of tricky. I wish you could do it from the top, but you can't. So what you do, you have to go underneath it, and you're gonna demolish that, and you'll all come down. The pillar will come down, but you see that the rest of the staircase is still left intact. So you have a nice, cool looking staircase going upward, and then you can just finish it up, adding some detail to make it look much sharper with stairs and ramps, all sorts of things. See, you can connect some more stairs here. If you want to make it too wide going up, you can. You just simply have to add another ceiling to the left side, and that allows you to make it a little wider if that's what you prefer. All right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is about the tech bridge and tips and tricks with that. Now, certainly instead of the staircase, you can simply just put a tech bridge down to the bottom. Some people might not have access to the tech bridge because that's an extinction engram. It's not learned by a boss fight at least, so that's cool. But it does require element and a replicator, so if people don't have that, they can't actually use a tech bridge. But anyhow, I'm going to show you how the tech bridge works. So once the tech bridge is placed, you can actually aim it, so you can see how far out it goes and such if you're on an edge. And then once you get to the top or the bottom of it, they'll give you an option to deactivate. Basically, that just turns off the bridge part. So it's kind of neat. It allows you to be private. Like if you don't want other people using your bridge, you can certainly do that. It gives you a nice little feature here. You can see that the tech bridge has quite a range depending on how you aim it and where it is. So you can really play with it. You can go to, for example, in redwoods, you can connect like the bridges between two redwood trees on the tree platforms. On floating islands where I am right now on Crystal Isles, you could actually connect yourself to another island. Or here, I'm going to connect myself way up here. I mean, it gives you a lot of different opportunities to make really cool bases and things here. All right, so you can actually incorporate the tech bridge into your base. However, there is a tricky way to attach it to a base, so I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to need pillars. You're going to put pillars like so. There's 3 pillars. And the ones on the ends are too high. The one in the center is one high. That'll allow you to elevate it. So once it's elevated, you can actually place. So you put one on top of another. See, if you don't, you can't actually connect it. See? So you have to put 3 pillars side by side. Then you put one on either side, like this, like that, and then it allows you to click the tech bridge in the center. Then you can aim it however you want. And there you have it. You have yourself a tech bridge, and you can connect. You can then remove the pillars. Actually, remove the pillars here, and then you can actually build around it if you wanted to. Like you can connect the ceiling to it, like so. Um, Once that's in, then you can dress it up. Add stairs. You can add walls, whatever you want to do with it. But that's how you basically connect it to a base or another structure, basically. Now, let's imagine that this is part of the top of your base, and you want to attach, like, say, a tech bridge from the top of your base to a pillar or something up higher or something down lower or whatever. This is how you're gonna have to do it. You're gonna put a pillar all the way at the bottom on the ground. You're gonna build it up to the level, I think just before the top ceiling, and then you can place your tech bridge. So then it's level, and you can basically aim it however you want. At this point, you can either leave it as is, or you can dress it up. Try to cover it up, and you certainly can. Depending on how you want to do it, you can add a foundation at the bottom or whatever. but that's how you basically incorporate it. You can demolish the pillar at this point because the tech bridge is actually attached to the ceilings at this point. Now, if you want to incorporate the tech bridge without adding that extra pillar on the outside, you go to the top of your base and you remove a ceiling. You put a pillar all the way at the bottom and you build it up to the very top of your base. Then you get your tech bridge and you place it on top of pillar. I accidentally tried to place a tech foundation. I thought it was a tech bridge. So that's what that was. Once I figured out that you do take out the tech bridge and you can see now it lights up. You aim it the way you want it. It's kind of iffy there a little bit. There you go. You aim it where you want it. You place it. And you can actually go inside the base and you can remove that pillar. So then you can attach foundations to it. It acts as a foundation. So you basically can click anything to it however you want. You can dress it up. This would be a really neat idea to maybe like how to build like a greenhouse you can attach it to. So then you can encase this area and make it like a little base. So that's what I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go around and close this for you, show you. So it's a little tricky to place the walls around the tech bridge. You have to kind of push in the inside click, and then it will place. It took me a few tries to get it to click properly. There you go. But you can see the potential here. I mean, it's kind of a neat idea. You can build a base to it. You can put a door, and then you can simply like this could be a greenhouse in here or whatever. I mean, this is just like an example. You could do whatever. But look at that. You can shut it off, turn it back on. Really cool incorporation into your base, I think. You can add stairs here, but it's not hard to walk back up at least, so that's good. All right, guys, that's it for today. I hope that these building tips and tricks were helpful to you in building your new base or extending your base or whatever it is. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.